All right, everybody, welcome to the 12 o'clock session from field to office with Ricardo Hernandez. I'm David Giordano. I'm the session moderator for this session. Before Ricardo starts giving his presentation, just keep in mind that the attendee microphones are muted, so you can ask questions through the session chat window in the attendee hub. One other housekeeping item is that this session is, of course, being recorded, and it will be available on the NCGIS conference YouTube channel, hopefully not too distant after the conference is concluded on Friday. So a little bit about Ricardo. He is a GIS specialist with about 3 years working directly with the Raleigh Water GIS team and close to 20 years working with water and sewer utilities, a good part of that in Puerto Rico. The use of utility web applications, Collector app, and Cityworks has helped him to expand his knowledge and provide better data to his organization. So with that, Ricardo, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, David. Hello, welcome everybody. Like he said, my name is Ricardo Hernandez. I'm currently working as a GIS specialist, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background in utilities and how I got here. So I started in 1999 working in Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico, in public utilities as a crew supervisor, which involved water and sewer maintenance and repairs. In 2011, me and my family decided to move to North Carolina, and it was in 2013 when I finally found a job in utilities and continue doing repairs and CCTV inspections and maintenance of utilities. Why from field to office? Well, this is kind of my story. Now working in GIS, so from field to office is the story that we're going to be talking about. So in Puerto Rico, I've been always keeping my set of plans with me when web apps were not available. I used those maps and made annotations of the new findings like size and depth of assets. But you know, this was the way on keeping our plans up to date. But if you didn't share this important information, then what? It was just for you. So when I started working in the city of Raleigh, it's when I said for the first time, when I saw for the first time a web app, and then I said, wow, this is like a dream come true. No more paper, wow. But then I noticed that employees were still working with these papers, even though they had a web app. I saw office visits and phone calls, people saying, hey, even myself, hey, can you help me with this? Or some of us didn't know how to send this to them, didn't know where, didn't know to whom. The communication was kind of for some of us that were new into this, how can we make this app a better application? Because what I'm finding is not matching with what's in the field and the app. So I understand that we all needed results and get things done. But who is responsible on getting it done, but done right? Here's when the back and forth comes, where we have field staff saying, these GIS guys are not doing what I told them to do. And then GIS staff, these field guys are not sending the right information, so I cannot make any changes. I don't know who sent this. I can't do it. So in 2017, Raleigh Water started using Cityworks, a work order asset management system. And I think that it improved communication between management and crews, but still the same things were happening in GIS. In 2018, it's when I had the opportunity to join the GIS team. And I thought that bringing this asset management work order system to GIS was going to improve the communication we needed between field and GIS staff. So we started getting work orders from field staff from areas that assets were missing, to make corrections on the configuration of the water mains and sewer assets. But it was still like, we need more details in these work orders to get it right. So we said, what happened if we give them the tools and training? That way they can make their own changes for some important attribution, asset status that can only be collected in the field. So when you want to know how deep an asset is, that's in the field. The valve turns in the water system. The location of some assets, like is this in a manhole? Is this in a vault? Where is it? And what about while they are on site, take some points with a GPS unit? So we trust and empower. Well, why not? At the end, it is their data. So we are working in GIS, but it is their data. They need to understand how to troubleshoot, how to isolate section of water, understand the configuration of this. So we started identifying employees, people that were sending updates via email, phone calls, that they were kind of engaged and asking the questions. So, and they also wanted to get this right. And we decided to train them. And at the same time, we were able to see these guys training other guys. They became leaders in the water distribution and sewer area, trying to teach others, hey, this is a cool application. Collector is super nice, it's super easy. And they were calling us, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to explain this to these guys. It was a good feeling to see all these guys that were more engaged into this. So we trained them on how to use Collector. They kind of ask us, hey, can you add this? Can you add that? They started using their smartphones. Some of them are still, but some of them are also using GPS units. And now with more people on board, together, we were able to provide training to more employees. But again, what else can we do to understand what we're getting from it? This picture here is like, hey, I found a manhole. And we were, okay, thank you very much. But, you know, what's in the manhole? What is it? Is that a sewer asset, a water asset? What are you talking about? Where is this located? So we appreciated the picture, but we needed more. We needed a better story. So we start asking for better pictures. Hey, can you step back a little bit more so I can see a better picture of this location? Because I don't know what you're trying to tell me with this picture. And they got better. You know, now we're talking. Now we can see, oh, look, that's Fayetteville Street and that intersection. The manhole is located on the grass. Some of them were also asking, can I send you a map? Oh, sure, you can use the web application. You can create and export a map and attach that to the work order so I can see the picture, but also the asset that you're talking about with the facility identifier number. So thanks to all that effort, we have seen a significant increase of corrections in our 1.5 million assets data. After all these efforts, were they worth it? Well, numbers can talk. We started with Cityworks, like I mentioned before, in 2017. So we started getting some work orders, some assets were corrected using the work orders, but as you can see in this graph, in 2018, we had an 11% increase, and then in 2019 and 2020, we are kind of doing almost all of them. Around 95,000 assets were updated thanks to all these guys sending us and sharing with us all these findings. It was a good opportunity to take this experience, the experience that I had coming from the field, and having the opportunity to work in GIS, to combine the knowledge from people from the field and the knowledge from the GIS staff, and combine them together to get more, not only for what we are doing here in the office, getting as-bills and doing corrections because an engineer or someone else is sending us data to be updated. We have employees out there waiting for these opportunities. I heard so many times the people questioning why this data is not. I went there three years ago and this is still wrong. Why is not fixed? Now we have the Cityworks work order system where we can see that history, what happened when things were not done and now are getting done. So we have good comments, good pictures, people more involved in into the GPS units, using collector. The technology is here. I think that we can just providing the right training and listen to them will be a bigger team, not only the GIS team, not only the field team. It will be one team, one unit. Is there more to do? I'll say yes. I think that we can team up with all of them, like I mentioned, learn from them and their experiences, provide the necessary training and tools, and again, work as one. I think this has been a pretty quick experience that I share with you. I'll be more than happy to answer questions now, or you can also send me an email to ricardo.hernandez@raleighnc.gov. And for sure, if I don't have the right answer, I can just come up with team up with the GIS team here and provide you what you need.
Hey, Ricardo, so this is David. So what kind of assets are you mapping for the water and the sewer?
What kind of assets? Yeah, we're talking about sewer mains, manholes, water system valves. Right now, we are allowing employees to make corrections and check the status for water system valves, if the valves are open or closed, so we know if the valve is operable or not. The valve turns is very beneficial when we get those numbers. A good percent of these valves are also telling us the main size. So by getting these numbers corrected, the depth of the valve and the number of turns per valve, it helped us here in GIS or anyone to click on that valve and see how many turns it has, how deep it is. And we can also make corrections on unknown sizes for some mains in the water system.
You mentioned you're using Arcgis Collector, right? Are you using, I mean, is it, are you checking data in and out and adding it back to the database when you get back into the shop, or using disconnected editing, or what's that workflow like?
So for us here, we are using ArcMap, and I can see all the edits that they have done. They are using Collector, the Collector app in their smartphones and tablets, and that's where they get all corrected. So they have most of the assets is view only, and we kind of gave them the editing rights for some assets, like I mentioned before, for valves, and most of them are points, because we are kind of concerned of right now saying, go ahead and change the diameter of this section of a main, but then that main is split in different valves or fittings. And if they change only one and they don't let us know in a work order, then we're gonna have, for example, an 8-inch main, a 16, and then 8 again. So we want to keep getting that until we provide them more training and probably a better tool to use.
Very good. We have like about 15 minutes left. So if
Yes.
anybody attending has a question, please put that in the chat window in the attendee hub, and Ricardo will answer it. Steve Kaufman, I think that's your coworker, Ricardo, is that right?
Yes, yes,
He
sir.
just chatted that you're lucky that you have good cell service and can do real-time corrections. You don't need to do disconnected editing. So that's a plus.
So now we're trying to involve, because we have field staff going to some areas where they are identifying in the field assets that are not in the system. So we are now getting in with contractors, with engineers, and see if we can get construction plans in a timely manner, so we can add this, at least for them to see that is a pending asset that is not active yet, but is pending, and it will be very beneficial for field staff to turn on those layers and see what's the future, what's going to be underground, or if they are seeing that these pending assets are already active, they are communicating that with us with the engineers, and kind of putting something together there to show what's really active underground, and not waiting for an as-built or something.
Tamara has a question. She asks, what is the workflow for the changes that you do versus them from the field? Do you get red line data?
Yeah, these field guys are the ones that are doing PM. They are checking on hydrants and valves, and they are always with that scheduled work, many work orders to just PM these assets, and whatever they're finding, they're putting that in a work order. The workflow for them is just, if they find something, they will send it to GIS if necessary. If not, they can just continue with the with adding what's needed in the asset. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Sean McGuire asks, did you have much resistance from staff to changing how this type of work is done?
Not really. I will say that I feel very comfortable because I was part of their team. I was part of, I've been here working in meters, CCTV, water repair, sewer repair. So I have been jumping from one position to another, and I kind of know them, they know me. And if they are new employees, I can say this because I heard them saying, oh, this is Ricardo, he knows what he's talking about. So send him what you have and he will get back with you with questions. So the relationship was there and is still, and during this pandemic, we are still, even though that we are using applications like this one, Microsoft Teams, for example, I also take my phone and say, hey, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm gonna put you on FaceTime, and I will show them my screen if they are in the field walking with the tools and everything, and we work together. And once I'm done with the work orders and editing what they send, sometimes I add a comment saying, hey, please verify what I did and let me know if the corrections I made match with what you found. And they get back with me in the same work order or even a phone. So it is a good feeling on both sides. And also, I'm passing some responsibility to most of them, saying, if it's not in the data and you are there, don't complain about it. Just let us know you have a work order system. Send the work order to us and we will put it in the map, like you're saying. Don't complain like this. That was in the past. Now we are talking different. We have access. We have the technology. What else do you need? Let us know how can we improve this collector application if somehow or another will be beneficial for you all.
So going back to an earlier question, and this is really for those that are not totally fluent in your industry. What is redline data?
Redline data, let me see if I can go back to. So if we get this, and this is not a good example of an as-built, but if we get plans, the red line will be something like, if the asset is not there and they had to put like an angle because there's a manhole, they're going to mark that most of the time with a red pen. And that's why they are calling that red lines. So we have construction plans, and then the red line is the corrections that these inspectors, field inspectors, they are working with the construction plans. And if there's something in the field that happened from that construction plan, they are turning these red lines for as-built corrections. So that's what a red line is.
Okay. Holly asks, which Trimble units are you using? Also, do you have Trimble positions and Terraflex? Okay,
so I know that we're using R2s here, Trimble R2. We have also R6, but if Steve is in the chat, he can probably give you a better answer on that.
Okay. Yeah, Steve's active in here. He's answering some questions as they come through. So we have about 8 minutes left. We have some time. If you have any more questions, please put them in the chat. And there's Steve saying that they use Trimble R2s, just as you had said. About 7 minutes left. So if there's anything else in the chat, please enter that now. We're going until 12:30, so we have a couple more minutes here.
This here was very helpful. I put a manhole, but sometimes I was asking, where's the meter? And they were just taking a picture of the meter on top of the meter. And I said, hey, can you just step back a little bit and show me at least the front of the house or something that I can put it in the map? Because if we don't know the location, then how can I help you putting this in the map for future reference?
All right, give a little perspective.
Yeah, they are now that they are really getting very good with that.
All right, so I don't see anything else coming in. Just want to conclude the session by saying thanks to everyone for attending, and Ricardo, to you for giving the presentation. Just as a reminder, this session and all the others that occurred during the conference will be on the GIS Conference YouTube channel. You can just go to YouTube and search NC GIS Conference, and you'll find all the video and audio in those videos. And I think that is all. So I appreciate your time today. Everybody have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.